Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Brew Jackets. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed podcast. My name is Kevin. Joining me tonight is my co-host, Hefty Duck. And, we invited other people to come on the show, and they may or may not come on the show. And if they do, that's cool. If not, oh well, there's always next time. Anyways, we got some big news going around in the Blue Jackets world. Some updates to the whole Patrick Laine situation. As of now, it's now being reported that it's most likely that he's going to not get traded and stay with the Blue Jackets. What does that mean for the Blue Jackets? We'll talk about that. There's new assistant coaching news. The Blue Jackets get 2 new assistant coaches. Who are they? We'll talk about that.
What do they want?
Yes. Also talking some contract stuff. Of the current Blue Jackets, whose contract is, the most team friendly, and we'll talk about who has a more team friendly contract compared to not so team friendly, and maybe there's a contract somewhere in the middle, either, not team friendly, but not, maybe not necessarily team friendly, but, not team friendly either, somewhere in the middle.
You don't gotta be nice about it. Some contracts just aren't good.
Yeah,
it
is what it is.
And it's how they age. You never know. You never truly.
Yeah. And and also got some fun stuff to share and so much more. So welcome to the show, everyone.
Welcome in. Sorry, I'm just pinning our stream to our profile right now. Cool beans. And speaking of, don't forget to like and share wherever you're watching from. We appreciate all of you. If you're able to, go to head to our YouTube and give us a like and follow there, or subscribe, follow. I don't know what all the buttons are everywhere, but we'd really appreciate that. We're trying to grow our YouTube channel, and go do it. But yeah, otherwise, we have a lot of stuff to talk about here. Let's talk about, because we'll go chronologically here a little bit. First things first, I want to talk a little bit about the coaches switching over, as you had mentioned. So we know for sure 2 coaches are out, and I'm so sorry if I'm butchering the name because I have not heard it pronounced. But Joseph Boumediene, he's a Stockholm, Sweden native. He formerly played for the New Jersey Devils, Tampa Bay Lightning, and Washington Capitals. And he started out as a scout for the Blue Jackets in 2013. Then he was promoted to the director of European scouting in 2016 before being promoted to the director of pro scouting in 2021. He was most recently an assistant coach for the Blue Jackets before being let go. So obviously we can look at some of the scouting from the past few years and compare them to some of the compare that to some of the draft picks, and obviously this guy must have been doing somewhat of a good job because he got promoted to an assistant coach as well. And another coach that's not going to be returning is Mark Recchi. So many people are aware of Mark Recchi's name. He had a very long career as both a player. He was a consultant for the Dallas Stars and an assistant coach. He played for 8 different teams. And he only retired in 2011. I mean, that sounds a lot more closer than I thought it did when I said it out loud. Now it seems like that's 13 years ago. Never mind. Only playing. Anyway, so he was an assistant coach for the New Jersey Devils and the Pittsburgh Penguins as well, but he has been let go. So those are the 2 leaving. As for the 2 new arrivals, we have Mike Haviland. He is from Middletown, New Jersey, and he is going to be an assistant coach after being an associate coach on the Cleveland Monsters for the last 2 seasons. So, sometimes players get brought up. Well, oftentimes players get brought up from the AHL. Sometimes coaches will too. Maybe they saw something that they liked, but I think it was interesting. So, I want to say he and Evison coached the same team at different times, or like they've worked together before, I think. Maybe I'm thinking of the next guy, but yeah. So he played hockey through college, played in the ECHL and the AHL, and then he played for the Binghamton Whalers in the AHL, the Richmond Renegades, and the Winston-Salem Thunderbirds in the ECHL. So he started coaching as an assistant coach for an ECHL team, the Trenton Titans, and then moved to another coaching position in the ECHL and so on until he hit the AHL. He coached the Hershey Bears, and then most recently was coaching at Colorado, a college. And between all of that, at one point he was an assistant coach for the Chicago Blackhawks when they won the Stanley Cup in 2010. So once again, the Blue Jackets organization getting people with experience specifically at winning Stanley Cups. Now Evison obviously is a bit of an exception there right now, but an experienced, like they're looking for experience. They're not trying to get anyone a good, like a first shot here. Like they did that for 3 years in a row. Well, an unintended third year, I guess. But oh, he was an associate coach for the Milwaukee Admirals, which is a team that Dean Evison had coached at one point. I don't know if they were there at the same time at all. I didn't go into that. Have you looked into Haviland? Like, have you watched the Monsters? I'm not sure like what he's in charge of, but Recchi was in charge of the power play. And I mean, we have another guy who could be coming in as that as well, though, too. So, do you know anything about this guy? Like, have any thoughts?
Yeah, so what I've been seeing this pop up on Twitter, and one of the basic ideas and why he got picked is that he's really credited for helping David Juracek step up his game and develop him, because we see it with David Juracek, we see it, the talent is there. He absolutely has the potential to be a good player. He's shown it with the Blue Jackets and he's shown it with the Monsters. But if there's one thing that keeps holding him back, is that is the skating. The skating has been an issue with David Juracek. And you can have all the greatest tools in the world. You can be the greatest player in the world. You can be really good offensively. You could be really good defensively. You could be good at face-offs or penalty killing or power play or whatever. But none of that doesn't mean anything if you can't skate, because teams are going to see that and go, okay, that guy can't skate. And then they're just going to exploit that like crazy. And they'll just blow right past you. It is one of the worst things, in my opinion, you can have in a game of hockey is that it's 5-on-5 on the ice, but it's really 5-on-4 because one dude is not good at skating. So teams know that and they just blow right by past the dude and they take advantage of that. And even though it's 5-on-5 on the ice, it's really 5-on-4 because they know that that guy can't really skate. So they use that to their advantage. And to David Juracek's credit, as soon as he got down to the Monsters, again, he really worked on just his whole package. Better on offense, better on defense. His skating got better. And the new assistant coach from the Monsters has played a big role in that and helping develop him to where he is today, to where he just played much better second half of the season, including the playoffs, where he really took off and he started to shine for the Monsters. So there's probably other reasons as well why he's with the Blue Jackets now, but the main reason I've read on Twitter from like Aaron Portzline and a bunch of other people is that he has that connection with David Juracek already, and he's shown that he can help develop him. And if he can do that for David Juracek, what else could he do for any of the other players that the Blue Jackets have?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Blue Jackets have a lot of other young players in development, and making sure that they are guided the right way. I mean, because we have several first round picks out there. I mean, playing in the NHL for the Blue Jackets right now, who just because you're a first round doesn't mean you're going to be great. Doesn't mean you're going to be the next Connor McDavid or what have you. They still needed coaches. They still needed that development to get to where they are. So that's a good point. Hoping that does have something to do with that. So there's a second guy here who was just hired by the Blue Jackets. His name is Scott Ford. He is from Fort St. John, British Columbia. As well, that's where he's a native from anyway. I'm not sure where he's coming from right now, but so he started his hockey career as a player as well. He spent time playing for the Milwaukee Admirals. Once again, the name is going to come up a few more times. He played in the AHL. He played for the NCAA, the Brown Bears. He played for the Cleveland Barons when they were in the AHL. Then the Dayton Bombers. So some Ohio ties here. Fresno Falcons, Providence Bruins, Trenton Titans, Grizzlies, Peoria Rivermen. Yeah, so he played on a lot of different teams. Seen a lot of different. Obviously, played with a lot of different players. Seen a lot of different styles. In 2015, his coaching career started when he was an assistant coach for the Nashville Predators AHL affiliate team, the Milwaukee Admirals, where he has been for the past 8 seasons. So he has both played for and coached alongside the Blue Jackets head coach Dean Evason while with the Admirals. So I thought that was something that was just really cool. Obviously, they know each other. Obviously, this is a handpicked Dean Evason guy. You know, maybe Waddell was like, "Hey, I want to give this guy a chance to bring him up from the monsters, and then who's your guy? We'll get rid of these 2 guys. You bring in whoever you want." And I would imagine, and you know, there's no like he's been with a team for the past 8 seasons. You're not just with a team for literally 8 seasons in a row if you're not doing your job correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So, and once again, you know, also is the AHL, so he's working with a lot of younger talent very often. So they're bringing up 2 AHL assistant coaches to the Blue Jackets.
Another thing to consider here is that the Milwaukee Admirals are one of those teams in minor league hockey that have a history of being consistently good.
Like the Hershey Bears.
Yeah. Like they've won the Calder Cup, and they've made consistent runs, consistently making the playoffs. And most recently, their last 2 seasons, they've made it to the conference finals. And you see what Nashville has been able to do over the years, where they're consistently good and, you know, making the playoffs, and even had that run to the Stanley Cup final in 2017. A big part of that is because they've been able to get talent that's been properly developed for their minor league team down in Milwaukee. And then those guys that come up from Milwaukee are ready to go play in Nashville when the time comes. So you have this, you know, Scott Ford guy coming up from Milwaukee. He has all that experience, not just coaching, but he knows what it's like to be for a team in a system where you're able to develop talent, have them be good in the minors, and then they're to get them ready to take that next step, and then they can be contributing members of the NHL team, and they're still good. So when you have a guy like that to your team, I just love that. I do, because again, look at where the Blue Jackets are. They are a team that's slowly building themselves up. We see it. It's there. The talent is there. There's a lot, sometimes bad moments, but there are good moments. We've seen it the past couple seasons here. When it's there, it's there. It's like, wow, that was an awesome game that the Blue Jackets played there. You know, they won 4-1, and, you know, let's just say, you know, Kent Johnson scored a goal, and Cole Cylinder scored a goal, and, you know, Adam Fantilli,
inconsistent.
Adam Fantilli, great game, you know, you know, Zach Werenski, he looked good, and all this other stuff. It's there. But you get that guy who is just in that environment in Milwaukee. That's just going to be awesome, because he's going to be able to help develop that talent, which is, again,
know how
That's
to
what
talk
the
to
Blue
them.
Jackets need.
Because there was a guy who was about to be hired last year who apparently did not know how to like talk to young people, and that's something that you need to be able to do. I mean, and I think Evison is also good for that. I mean, look at what he had Kirill Kaprizov. He was working with the Wild, and all these dudes have like something in common. They all worked for the Milwaukee Admirals at some point.
Yeah.
Um, and I just think it's really neat that they're all joined together here.
Right.
So
And I've said this on the show, but I want to say it again, is that the thing is I really do like about Dean Evison is that he has shown that not only has shown that he can be a good coach and he can help get his teams to win and make the playoffs, but he was doing that with the Wild up in Minnesota, where for a majority of his existence coaching there, they had horrible cap space where they basically, for the most part, couldn't really do anything. And if they did do anything, it was basically, bargain bin shopping and hoping the guy that you got for like $1 million or $2 million was going to be okay and help your team win. And he was still able to find a way to develop talent and make those teams consistently good and making the playoffs. And like you said, developing guys like a Kirill Kaprizov, a Matt Boldy, he's turning into an absolute superstar for the Wild. Joel Eriksson, he's turned into like a 20-30 goal guy, top 6 center for him. Brock Faber is looking to be like their next big star defenseman for them, and he looks good. And there's other players too that you could look at on Minnesota as well. So like you put all that together and you show that, yeah, I can develop talent. I can help them, bring them along, slowly build them up. So he can do that in Minnesota. I'm interested to see what he can do with the Blue Jackets with all of our, young up and coming talent. What's he going to do when he has a chance to work with, a Kent Johnson or Adam Fantilli? Or what's he going to do when he gets to work with, a Zach Werenski or a Johnny Gaudreau or a Boone Jenner or a Sean Monahan or whatever? I'm just interested to see how this goes and how he works with them.
yeah, and they're not only getting people who can work with younger people, but who are experienced too. Just at what they do. I think everyone coming in here is more than qualified to do the job that they were hired to do. I'm not worried about any of these guys that they're bringing in. So let's do another little bit of Blue Jackets news real quick. Excuse me. Hold on. Okay. Before we do a little ad thing. So this is not exactly Blue Jackets news, but it's Blue Jackets related. Former general manager Jarmo Kekalainen is being inducted into the Finnish Hall of Fame for his work. He's did a lot of coaching in other types of hockey, like on the world stage and nationally for his country and whatever. So, congrats to Kekalainen. Good for him. He was the first Finnish coach in the NHL, and maybe might not be the last. So,
No, because how the Blue Jackets originally found Yarmo, he was, for years he was a scout, and then he was a GM working for the Blues under John Davidson, and then after that he went to go work for a team as a GM for Finland, and then the Blue Jackets, saw him over in Finland doing stuff, and obviously they made the decision to pick him, and now we can easily say that generally speaking, for the most part, that turned out to be a pretty damn good move for the Blue Jackets. So shout out to you, Yarmo. Congratulations. Way to go. And thanks for everything you did for the Blue Jackets. It'll be interesting to see what else you have planned for your life, and that's good to know that you got picked to be in the Finnish Hall of Fame over in Finland.
That's pretty cool. Some more kind of related Blue Jackets news. Tim Leroy, he was the former head equipment manager for the Blue Jackets. He finds himself as the head equipment manager for the San Jose Barracuda. So that's cool for him. Just little off-season things that you're gonna see, stuff like that. Some other little off-season things, maybe. Happy birthday, Johnny Gaudreau. His birthday was yesterday. I believe he is 31.
Yeah.
So he's happy birthday to you, man. Hope you had a good time. I mean, looking at some of those wedding videos from last year, he looks like he can have a good time. He's like on the one guy's shoulders. Anyway,
the chair. He's in the chair and
yes.
he's going up and down, up and down,
Yes.
up and down.
So not as much Blue Jackets related, just some like NHL news real quick. Ryan Getzlaf has been hired to the NHL's Department of Player Safety. So that's something interesting. Good luck, Getzlaf. And Cody Glass has been traded from Nashville to Pittsburgh. I don't remember for what or why. I feel like that was a cap dump, but maybe that's just me. Okay, and here's actually a pretty big piece of news that we might get stuck on just for like a little bit. On Monday, so excuse me, I keep having to clear my throat.
Yeah.
On Monday. Now this is coming from an article from Yahoo Sports. This is Brad Elliott Schlossman of the Grand Forks Herald, and a class action lawsuit was filed on Monday. It has the potential to upend college hockey's ecosystem. The lawsuit accuses the NCAA of violating antitrust laws by rendering athletes who compete in Canadian major junior hockey ineligible for college hockey. So the suit was filed by Rylan Masterson. He says he played 2 preseason games with the Windsor Spitfires of the Ontario Hockey League, and that 2 preseason games made him ineligible for college hockey. The lawsuit was filed in the Western District of New York, which probably makes sense as the NHL headquarters are they in Toronto or New York? I thought they were.
It's Toronto.
Is it? Oh, well, in any case, I'm sure it has something to do with the NCAA being located there. But
wait, the NCA? No, that's not Toronto. That's
no, I was asking NHL. Yeah, you heard me right the first time.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, hockey's in Toronto.
Yeah. So this could be huge. This could be huge for more so for the minor junior leagues, and I think for NCAA, because coaches are not going to want to see their players. Like, that's the threat. You leave the NCAA for that, you cannot come back. And if you play for the minor juniors at all, you can't even play in college. Dude, I don't know what's up with my throat right now, but of course it has to happen when we're doing the show. So there was a annual coaches meeting this last spring, and the opening of the college hockey league was discussed. It said about 2/3 of college hockey coaches were against it, and they were like, everyone's aware that there was going to be a lawsuit. Like, they already knew that this was probably going to be a thing. It could potentially change it. And they did form a working group to study the issue. So there's guys working on this like already. They're trying to figure out a way that everyone can get paid, is what I'm assuming, because now that the NCAA, you're able to do the NIL deals and get paid for college, being a college athlete. I think that should open up the door for OHL athletes to be able to, or minor junior athletes to be able to like go back and forth a little bit. And it's so through NCAA bylaw, college hockey does not allow players who competed in the 3 Canadian major junior leagues. Here is the bylaw. Major junior ice hockey teams in the United States and Canada, classified by the Canadian Hockey Association as major junior teams, are considered professional teams under NCAA legislation. So it's considered a professional team, even though, yeah, whatever. But there are players in the NCAA or college hockey league who are under NHL contract right now, which some people argue should make them ineligible. along with like because some of them will receive stipend payments, and you know, uh, it does. So I don't want to go into every single detail here, but there's like some very nuanced situations. Like Tom Willander played for Boston University defenseman. He played games in Sweden's Pro League, but he's eligible. And other college athletes are able to receive payments for their athletic performance. And yeah, like what do you think, Kev? I mean, should a player like let's take Kane Lindstrom for example. Like, what if he's like, you know what, it would be really cool to go join. Also, a little piece of Blue Jackets news: William Whitelaw is headed to Michigan. So what if Caden Lindstrom's like, dude, you know what? I want to go develop some chemistry with this guy. I'm gonna go see. I've heard Michigan's great, and what if they wanted him? And why not? Why couldn't he just go play for Michigan?
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. And then, of course, in that
hypothetical, I know.
no, but then in that hypothetical scenario, we just add another name to the list of players that have played at Michigan and then have gone on to eventually play for the Blue Jackets, which at this point in time keeps getting the list of that the list of those players just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And some of the biggest tweets that our show has had is because I just tweeted stuff out. Just just look at all these players that have played at Michigan / the Blue Jackets, and it's just like, wow, that's a kind of a big list. And then you make the joke, oh, the Michigan to Blue Jackets pipeline, and Michigan is the Blue Jackets farm team, and all the other stuff. Funny, little silly joke. That would be interesting if you could have something like that. With the whole NIL thing in regards to what's happening in college right now, that does kind of make you wonder if something like that would eventually happen in the junior leagues. There are guys in today's world that they absolutely could go play in juniors, and they would just be absolute stars for their team, and then they'd be eventually get drafted into the NHL. But a lot of these guys are looking at it and saying, I could go there, or I could go to like college and I could play like 1 to 3 years and I'd get to the NHL quicker. And that's happened kind of with guys like an Adam Fantilli. I think Kent Johnson was in a similar position, and there's other players too that have been in this position as well that probably could have gone the junior route if they really wanted to, but made the decision to go the college route. So this is an interesting lawsuit, and be interesting to see how this goes, because it does kind of raise an interesting point there. Is you can do this stuff in college, and then coaches like,
and it's the same age kids.
It's just about the same age kids, and coaches, generally speaking, they don't give two shits about it. Where 1 year you can coach in juniors, and then maybe next year you're coaching in some college, or you're coaching in some minor league team, or you're coaching for some team. For in the NHL, or you could be like what's happened with the Blue Jackets, where they went out and got a guy who was working for the London, not as a coach, but he was working for the London Knights, and now he's working with the Blue Jackets, and there was no like big issue that said like, oh no, sorry London Knights, or sorry Blue Jackets, you can't do that. Now, not a lawyer, so I don't know, maybe the whole legal issue and all that. And, there may be a reason for it, why the way it is. And if that's the case, it might actually make sense. And if this, who knows, they might go through this lawsuit, and maybe it goes through, or maybe it gets shot down and says, nope, I'm sorry, can't do that. it is what it is. I don't know, but interesting to see how this goes because it does bring up an interesting question, a little interesting point. It's like, well, the whole NIL thing just kind of makes you wonder. And if like a coach can do it, why not a player? And some of the examples that you said, it's like, oh, this player went over there and did it and then came back no issues. So I don't know. Interesting to see how this goes, and it just kind of makes you wonder.
Right. And I almost wonder if it's keeping some major junior players from like going to college and getting degrees that way then too. Because I mean, obviously if you go to somewhere for college and your team's there, you're there for both school and that. So but like take like Caden Lindstrom, like there's have to be a college in Medicine Hat that he would want, or like close to there that he would want to go to continue anyway. So just something to think about. Thought it was an interesting nugget of news that this is, just throwing it out there. It's nothing concrete yet. There is a lawsuit, and there will be something more on that later. So, but right now we have a little. Was there something that you wanted to bring up, or you have that on for later? You have the screen share thing.
Oh, okay. We can. Oh, sure. We can just do that now and get that out of the way.
Okay.
We'll just get that out of the way here. Okay. So, of course.
Oh yeah, because we'll talk about William Whitelaw a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we mentioned him. And we mentioned that he moved to Michigan. Now Rick Nash.
Well, first things first. See, so Michigan. So Blue Jackets have a prospect, William Whitelaw, who is going to go play for Michigan next season. He originally was playing at Wisconsin, and we've shown some of his, goals on the show before that he scored at Wisconsin. And the basic idea behind William Whitelaw is he's a smaller dude, but the dude is really good and can shoot the puck. It's kind of a sniper kind of the thing. He had, in my opinion, when I look at him, he's very reminiscent of like a Cam Atkinson type of a player, dude who can score. But yeah, he's a smaller dude, but like he's not going to get like bullied. You never really saw Cam Atkinson get like pushed off the puck and get bullied, even though he was a smaller dude. He still found a way around that. And when I see William Whitelaw play, that's what I see. Just a dude that can score goals and just, awesome. But anyways, he transferred to Michigan, and he's going to be playing at Michigan next season. And Michigan's hockey team posted this graphic to promote their new players that they're getting this season. And William Whitelaw is in that picture. And I posted that picture and circled him with the red circle so that, people can see who is William Whitelaw. It's, the red circle right there. There's William Whitelaw.
And as we mentioned just a little earlier, the Blue Jackets have had a lot of players from Michigan, but Rick Nash is the head of player development or something like that. Anyway, everyone knows who Rick Nash is. He said that the organization did not try to sway him either way. I do believe that. I believe that they allow the younger like them to figure out their own pathway and to go with that, because obviously it had already been working at Wisconsin. But this does a few things for Whitelaw. I mean, first, it puts him closer to the other prospects. I mean, maybe the ones who are playing in the AHL for the Cleveland Monsters. It's not that far from Michigan, and also he's just closer to the Blue Jackets in general then too. And so that may have something minor to do with it, but in any case, I can't wait to see what he's going to do next year.
There's a real good article that was written by Craig Mears, who is part of the Columbus media. And, he has articles that appear on NHL.com. And he wrote, I'm not going to show the whole article, but there's a little clip here, this little part here that kind of talks about William Whitelaw and what, why he went to Michigan and all that other stuff. So I'm just going to read a little bit here. It's okay. So Let's see here. So, quote, all the guys at Wisconsin were unbelievable, Whitelaw said at Blue Jackets development camp last month. Great people. Teammates were unbelievable, but I just think on the hockey side, wasn't really what I wanted or what I needed to go to the NHL. So ultimately, I had to make that decision, and it was a really hard decision, but I think it was the right one for me. And like Hefty Duck said, Columbus director of player development Rick Nash said the organization did not try to sway Whitelaw either way. Quote, making decisions on where he should play, that doesn't matter to us because we're going to support him no matter where he goes, Nash said. That's kind of up to his camp on the final decision, but I was a sounding board for him just to try and navigate him through his on ice play. Getting to know William over the last year, he's a real passionate kid that loves hockey and plays a high octane game. So Whitelaw had 17 points, 10 goals, 7 assists in 37 games at Wisconsin last season. But the chance to play at a perennial NCAA power, plus Michigan coach Brandon Naruto reputation for developing players for the NHL proved to be a deciding factor. I like how Naruto runs his team. Whitelaw said he teaches guys how to be better offensively, but also plays the other side of the puck too. When you go to Michigan, you're going to national championships every year. That's the one thing I like. And then one last thing mentions, all the guys that have played for Michigan, but also for the Blue Jackets, like Kent Johnson, Gavin Brindley, Adam Fantilli, Nick Blankenberg, Jack Johnson, and Zach Werenski. So eventually, William Whitelaw is going to be there with all these guys. So it does make sense why William Whitelaw would want to go play for a school like Michigan that is consistently good at hockey and has provided a lot of talent to the next level and developed talent that's good, not just at Michigan, but also at the next level at the NHL. And obviously the Blue Jackets are one of those teams that have benefited from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't mean to cut this discussion short, but we're kind of past the mid-roll slot here. So I'm going to go ahead and do our ad reads real quick, and we'll see you guys right after this. What are your self-care non-negotiables? Maybe never skip leg day or therapy day. When your schedule is packed with kids' activities, big work projects, and more, it's easy to let your priorities slip. Even when we know what makes us happy, it's hard to make time for it. When you feel like you have no time for yourself, non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/THPN today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/THPN for 10% off your first month. Know the beautiful thing about being a sports fan? There's only like 2 days in the whole year without a game. With so much happening and so much action, that just makes about every day game day at DraftKings Sportsbook. It's easy for first timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. It really couldn't be any easier. And if you're new to DraftKings, you gotta check this out. New customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. See terms and responsible gaming resources at dkng.co/base. All right. And as always, I got some odds for you here. So the Guardians are starting literally right this second. I'm trying to get the game up over here on my other screen. And they're going to be playing the Chicago Cubs. It's a home game for the Guardians. On the money line, the Cubs are minus 105. Now, this is live as it's happening, so some things are changing here and there a little bit.
Yeah.
And the Guardians are minus 125. So there's a little bit. The Reds are also playing right now, right this minute, or starting. And they're playing the Cardinals. It's a home game for the Reds. The Cardinals are a minus 135 on the money line, and the Reds are plus 105. So there's two Ohio sports teams playing for you right now.
Yes. Like we always do on the show, we're Ohio sports fans. So from a gambling perspective, generally speaking, only talk about Ohio sports teams. And as of now, the only thing you can bet on from an Ohio sports perspective is the Reds and the Guardians, and there's the Crew and, FC Cincinnati. So it's baseball and soccer right now. But come September, football will be back, and then you'll be able to bet on both Ohio State and, like the Bearcats and the Bengals and the Browns. And before you know it, October will come around, hockey will be back, and then you'll be able to bet on the Blue Jackets games. But for now, it's only Reds, Guardians, and then the two Ohio soccer teams, the Crew and FC Cincinnati.
Yep. Can't wait. It's like 2 months, almost to the day, till hockey is back. So we got to kind of zip through this next thing a little bit. Not only is it just a little piece of news, but it's something that we on the show have said multiple times over the past few months. And that is, there's a little bit of news. Chris Johnston from the Chris Johnston podcast, he says, well, I think Laine is likely going to have to play his way to Columbus. It just feels more likely that he's going to have to come back to the Blue Jackets and translate that work he's been doing off the ice. I'm not sure if there's some typos in that quote there, but so long story short, Laine, Chris Johnston thinks, so here's some other quotes from Chris Johnston. Show something on the ice. He wants Patrick Laine to show something on the ice that compels a team to make a trade for him. There's a huge unknown here with Laine. He's been out. He was out the entire last season for the most part. There's not many teams, frankly, that will be able to jam that contract in their cap picture. There's absolutely teams interested in him. And we talked about on the show, if Waddell was willing to take like half of that 8 point. Now, this is what is going to lead us into our next conversation about the contracts too. If Don Waddell or the Blue Jackets were willing to retain some of that $8.7 million contract, he would be gone already. It wouldn't be a problem. But just because of the unknown, I don't think the Blue Jackets are not looking to try to retain any more cap. They're trying to not spend as much money as possible because they have to pay. They still have to pay Alexander Wenberg for the next 2 seasons and Adam Boquist. And granted, it's not like they're paying them multi-millions of dollars, but it is money, and it's not cheap. And as we've mentioned already in this episode, the Blue Jackets aren't the biggest market out there. So, there's a situation where we could see Laine playing, and we said that last week too. So
yep, that's the absolute truth. There is that we've said this on the show that there's a possibility that Laine gets traded, but the way it's going, when you hear it in the news, it just on Twitter and other places, it just seems like the way it's going that it's most likely going to be that Patrick Laine is going to stay on the Blue Jackets. And it's not from a lack of effort. It's not like, Patrick Laine said that, hey, I want to trade. And then the Blue Jackets were like, screw you, we're not trading you. Like, no, they didn't do that. It was like Patrick Laine's like, oh, I want to get traded. And then the Blue Jackets were like, oh, okay, well, we'll try our best to trade you. No guarantees. And they've tried. It's just, as of now, it hasn't gone out worked out as well, perhaps, as the Blue Jackets have wanted. Because, and like you said, Hefty Duck, perfectly said, Don Waddell said that if I wanted to, I'm paraphrasing the quote, but if I wanted to retain some of that contract, he would have been gone already. And he doesn't, as of now, he doesn't want to do that. And the time may come where he may have to do that, but we're not there. We're not there yet. And I said this on the show last week, and I'm going to say it again, which is just because Patrick Laine wants to get traded does not mean he's going to get traded. Owen
says Laine to Seattle for Bjorkstrand in the third. Hey,
Owen. But just because Laine wants to get traded does not mean that he's going to get traded. There's also this mindset that some people have from either be Blue Jackets fans or from other fan bases of different teams that they just automatically assume that the Blue Jackets have to trade Patrick Laine. When in reality, no, they don't. The Blue Jackets are going to trade Patrick Laine if it makes sense for the Blue Jackets. They're not going to trade him just because. It's not going to just be like some salary cap dump. A lot of these teams, the fans of different teams, are like, yeah, I'll get how about like a D- prospect and like a 7th round draft pick for Patrick Laine. And it's like, okay, no, that's not happening. You're not being serious. Come back to the negotiating table when you're being serious. The Blue Jackets.
Here's another comment from Owen. Also, if you two would like to leave a comment, feel free to go to our YouTube and leave us a comment, or on Twitter. We read most of them live while we're on air, like this one. Owen says, Habs fans be like, give us Laine. Yeah,
no.
I've seen a lot of
there's some Owen's right there. Owen is absolutely right. I've seen that too on Twitter. Where Montreal was like, yeah, give it. Oh, we want Laine. But no, just because Patrick Laine wants to get traded does not mean that the Blue Jackets have to trade him. The Blue Jackets are not in a position right now where they have to trade him. They can wait. When the time comes, they will trade him. And as he may still get traded, but as of now, the way it's looking, they're probably still at Patrick Laine come October, and the Blue Jackets are probably going to have to tell Patrick Laine that, hey, it's not from a lack of effort. We tried trading you. It just didn't work out. We just need you to do your best to play good, raise your trade value, and then it can get done.
Yeah. So we just got to keep moving on here. So we talked about a little bit about this last week already. We talked about whose contracts have like the best value to them. We talked about John Gaudreau. I think we already talked about Laine. We talked about Boone Jenner and Kirill Marchenko, I believe, because Kirill Marchenko just signed a new contract. And we talked about a couple of defensemen. We talked about Zach Werenski, Damon Severson. I think we talked about Provorov. So let's talk about who exactly has one of the most. Let's just touch on two, since we are kind of crunching for time right here. Who do you think has the most team-friendly contract? And what I mean by that, for anyone out there who doesn't know quite what I mean by team-friendly, I mean the person who could be getting paid more somewhere else, but has chosen to take a little bit less to try to make the team better, and is willing to take a little bit less for to get more back, in the end, by just trying to be a better team. And looking at these contracts, there's one person on my mind with this one. And it's simply because he's been in the top as far as getting points goes for the last 2 seasons, if not 3 seasons. And that is Captain Boone Jenner.
Mm-hmm.
He's $3.75 million for the next 2 seasons. Yet then he's a UFA after that. 3.75. Now, looking at Kirill Marchenko, who he had the most goals on the team last year, but he does not have close to what Boone Jenner had. Well, no, actually, they're pretty similar in points per game. Boone Jenner was injured, so he would have had a lot more points last year. But basically, if we took Boone Jenner's points and divided it by his wage, it would be the value would be immense there. Whereas we take someone like Johnny Gaudreau, who was like the leader in points last year as well, and we divided it by his wage, the value isn't quite as much because he's just making like almost 3 times more than Boone Jenner. And I'm not saying Johnny Gaudreau is not a team-friendly contract, but I'm saying Boone Jenner, $3.75 million. Who do you think has one of the most team-friendly contracts here?
You said what I was going to say, and that's Boone Jenner, given the fact that the way that he's played for the Blue Jackets is just absolutely awesome. And that's a contract that realistically he should be getting more than that. Whether that be from a different team or for the Blue Jackets, he should be getting more than that. And it's a credit to the Blue Jackets for getting that contract done when they did.
Yeah.
Because, in some hypothetical scenario, if they didn't get that contract done, they may be looking at a different situation where they may be looking at least 4 or 5 million and go, ooh, I don't know that, he would deserve it, but it'd be kind of like, ooh, I don't know, that seems a little expensive.
Like 5 million doesn't seem too bad for me. Like a $5 million contract for Boone Jenner, I'd be like, okay, I get it.
No, and I agree with that. I agree with that. I get it, but I guess what I'm trying to get at is that, if they had not done that contract, now they'd be in a much tougher position. And who knows, maybe they look at it and say, well, we like Boone Jenner, but I don't know if we can afford that because we might have to pay money for other players. But as of now, because they got that contract done when they did, it's just an absolute steal, just an absolutely beautiful, awesome contract that is just very helpful for the Blue Jackets when you consider that Boone Jenner has just been an awesome player for the Blue Jackets ever since he started playing for the Blue Jackets during the 2013-2014 season. Boone Jenner has just been a Mr. Reliable guy, someone you can count on. You need him to play center, he can do that. That could be first line center, second line center. You need him to play third line, fourth line center. He can do that. Need him to play on the wing. It could be first line, second line, third line, fourth line. He can do that. You need power play. He can do that. You need penalty kill. He can do that.
Yep.
Offense, defense. You need him to win a big face off. He can do that. Leadership. And there's just, he's one of the few players that are still left over on the Blue Jackets roster that was part of that turnaround the first time where they went to they made the playoffs in 2013, 2014, and then made the playoffs 4 straight years in a row from 2016, 2017 to 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
Those 2 playoff series wins against Tampa Bay and Toronto, and the 16 games in a row winning streak and 108-point season. Like, he was there for that when the times were better and the culture was better. There's just so much that Boone Jenner brings that it's just awesome, and that contract is very, very cheap and very team friendly compared to what he should be getting.
Yeah. So once again, moving quickly because crunch for time. I don't want to dog on the dude, I really don't, but we have to talk about whose contract is the least team friendly. Who is the team playing the most that is just like their value, like their points divided by their wage is just low. And it's personally, it's who we've been harping on here for a while now, and it's simply Patrick Laine.
Mm-hmm.
Just with the return that the Blue Jackets have gotten, and I know these are probably the most typical ones. We'll go over some more team-friendly ones here in the future. We always need little things for the show to talk about like that. So $8.7 million, they owe him that for this year and next year. Obviously, we talked about if they were willing to retain, he probably would have been gone by now. But is that what you think? I mean, like okay, let's take Laine out of the equation. Now, who are we talking about? I think they're all pretty good, but I think we have to look at the defense a little bit. We have to look at someone kind of like Damon Severson.
Yeah, well, I can understand why people say that, but I'm not ready to judge him on that when it was just one season and
True.
it wasn't that long ago. People were ripping on Erica Branson and the Blue Jackets getting him and his contract. Oh, he's not playing very good, and that contract isn't very good, and
Yeah.
all this other stuff. And then this past season, you didn't hear shit about that. Everyone is like, "Oh, Erica Branson, I
Yeah.
like him. He's been a good player for the
And
Blue
he's not there
Jackets."
for points.
Yeah,
I think we all
he's
know that.
I like, and now it's like, "Oh, I like Erica Branson. He's been a good player for the Blue Jackets." And you didn't hear people just bitching and complaining about that contract
True.
anymore. And I
Well,
suspect that it's the same thing, that you're not going to hear the same thing again. And my suspicion is, if I had to take a guess, I suspect that a similar thing is going to happen with Damon Severson, much like what has happened with Erica Branson. That I just don't think his second year in, I think it's going to be better and not going to be as bad. And I don't think you're going to hear people complaining about it. And no disrespect to Patrick Laine, but as it currently stands, the unfortunate reality is that you have the worst contract that the Blue Jackets have right now. And some of it isn't your fault. You've gotten hurt. Your dad unfortunately died. You've had all this mental health issues, and then unfortunately, it just got so bad to the point where you felt the need to go to the player assist program to go get some help. And it's good that you did that, and it's good that you got some help, but
yeah.
you just put all that stuff to, and then the inconsistent play where sometimes you're just not there, it's not good, but then sometimes you are good, and you just put all that stuff together, and it's like, well, unfortunately, that's the reality. It's just
It's
it's
just
not
facts.
it's
Yeah.
just
It's nothing
facts.
personal.
It's nothing personal. It's just facts. It is what it is as it currently stands, it's not the greatest contract. And
Yeah.
that's unfortunately for the Blue Jackets and Patrick Laine, because he does want to get traded.
Yeah.
That's a big reason why we've talked about this on the show many times, but that contract is a big reason why a lot of teams are a little bit hesitant right now, because they don't have a lot of cap space, and they look and go, ooh, 8.7, that's a little expensive. I'm not so sure about that. They see the talent. It's there. He's shown it with the Jets and the Blue Jackets, but the contract is like, ugh, I'm not so sure about that. And that kind of scares some teams away. It is what it is. No disrespect to you, Patrick Laine, but that's just it's just the facts.
And by the end of next season, it could be totally the opposite. We just don't know. And that's exactly what we're talking about with Chris Johnson was talking about too. There's a lot of unknown with Laine. And like I said, not dogging on the dude. He's a fantastic player. I've seen the videos of him training lately. He looks like a beast. I would love to see him back with the Blue Jackets and see what they could do. But that's about everything that we have. Kevin, is there anything that you'd like to talk about yet real quick? And then go ahead and do your closing dealio.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so single game tickets have been starting this past July. Single game tickets for the Blue Jackets have been on sale. So just want to throw that one out there, that single game tickets for the Blue Jackets are now on sale.
Yeah.
So go get those tickets and go see the Blue Jackets play. If you're a season ticket holder for the Blue Jackets right now, you have a chance to get some tickets for the Blue Jackets outdoor game. As for when single game tickets for the outdoor game, that will be announced at a later date, but it's coming. And, speaking of the Blue Jackets getting an outdoor game, here's the video that the Blue Jackets posted this past February to when they announced that news that the Blue Jackets are getting an outdoor game. It is just such a fun, cool video, and I love it. I really do. And I'm going to play it twice. So here's the video. Blue Jackets are getting an outdoor game. I'm excited. I'm hyped. This is really cool. And I'm going to be there. And if you have the chance to be there, you should be there too to see this outstanding, this awesome, this wonderful, once in a lifetime event that the Blue Jackets are most likely never getting again. The Blue Jackets are getting an outdoor game. Everyone get hyped. Everyone get excited. The Blue Jackets are getting an outdoor game. Yeah. Woo!
Hell yeah.
Excuse me. Anyway, oh God, got myself going, and I'm coughing like Hefty Duck here. Anyways,
yeah, right.
Oh, geez. So, there's that. I'm gonna save it for next week, but I saw a picture on Instagram of Johnny Gaudreau, and he's with his wife, and he's at a restaurant eating some oysters. And
Nice.
I have that picture, but I'm going to save it for next
Oysters
week.
are so gross. Ugh.
I've had, I have not had well, maybe I might have had oysters, maybe not, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, you're not missing anything if you have.
Blue Jackets getting an outdoor game, and Stinger's going to be there, and you would assume that Brutus is going to be there, and maybe Stinger will, moon Brutus like he did that one time. Take that. Take that. I like that video. It's a fun video. Anyways, so oh God, that was too loud. Anyway, did it go?
What we got a little video here for the Union Blue Soldiers. If you too are an audio listener and would like to see the video for this, don't forget to follow us on YouTube or check us out on Twitter. You can follow us on Facebook too. That's really appreciated. We don't really stream there because it's Facebook.
Well, because we can't, because we don't have 100 likes, and they have a new rule that if you don't have 100 likes, you can't stream. So we don't have 100 likes yet, but if we did, we could stream there. So go like that page. That's besides the point. Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. Join Union Blue Soldiers for the annual Union Blue Soldiers March. We're marching on to Nationwide Arena to cheer on the beloved team in Union Blue, your Columbus Blue Jackets. Here, I have a video to show you what the march is and what it's about. It's so fun. It's so cool. It's been featured in the Columbus Dispatch, 97.1 The Fan, all over social media. The Blue Jackets have promoted it the last 3 times. They've participated in the march the last 3 times. If you've gone to a Blue Jackets game within the last couple years, at some point in time, you've most likely seen our march on the scoreboard at a Blue Jackets game. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to play this video. So here it is. Let's go Jackets! 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 So, join Union Blue Soldiers for the Union Blue Soldiers March on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024, R-Bar, 6 o'clock p.m. Join us as we march on the Nationwide Arena to cheer on the beloved team in Union Blue, your Columbus Blue Jackets. CBJ! CBJ! C. Let's go, Jackets! Let's
That
go,
happened because I've hit
Jackets!
his desk.
Anyways,
awesome.
one. So there's that, and then I have a couple last things to show. Is we have let's see here. Hang on a sec here. Present share this. Okay, so I'm also passing out another reason you should come to the Union Blue Soldiers March. Besides, just being with your fellow Blue Jackets fans and cheering on the Blue Jackets, marching on the Nationwide Arena to cheer on the Blue Jackets, is you can get this cool flyer like this one that's up on the screen that will be passed out at the next Union Blue Soldiers March on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. It's got our logo on it, all the social media, and it has a fun QR code that you scan with a fun surprise. What's that fun surprise? You're going to have to come to the Union Blue Soldiers March to find out what that fun surprise is, to, scan that QR code. So, there's that. So join Union Blue Soldiers for the Union Blue Soldiers March on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024, R-Bar, 6 o'clock p.m., as we're marching on to Nationwide Arena to cheer on the Blue Jackets. So, as I do every show, that's not what I wanted to do. It's a picture of my brother's dog, Cooper. So there you go. It's a picture of my brother's dog, Cooper. So there's that.
Noise.
And
Cooper. I'll do it because William's not here. Cooper.
That's right. That's right. Fun inside jokes. If you were on the FHL / the Fantasy Hockey League that the Man of Truth and Owen run, we could join that. And we have a fun inside joke that's also on Owen's Discord. If you were in the FHL and on Owen's Discord, you'd understand that inside joke.
Mm-hmm. So go join.
Yeah. Oreo
cow.
That's right. Oreo cow. Oreo cow. Oreo cow. Like I did earlier on in the show, you should like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. It helps us grow. So, tell your family, tell your friends about the show. Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would greatly appreciate that help. And one last time, go check out Union Blue Soldiers on all social media platforms and join us for the Union Blue Soldiers March on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024, R-Bar, 6 o'clock p.m. Join us as we march on the Nationwide Arena to cheer on the beloved team in Union Blue, your Columbus Blue Jackets. All right, I'm done talking. I'm out.
Dope. Just a big shout out to our audio listeners out there. Big shout out to our viewers as well. Y'all been great for to us these past year and a half, and looking forward to start of the season here in a few months. But don't forget to like, subscribe, share wherever you're watching from or listening from. Don't forget to check out our YouTube and Facebook and all the other pretty cool things. We will see you guys again here in 1 week. Same day, same place, same time. Of course, it's the same place. And will we have some news on Cole Sillinger's contract? Will we have some news on... I don't know. Because it's the off season. You never know what kind of news is going to come up. So we'll see you guys all then. Have a good night. Peace.